This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia of A Tip from Gilbert, talk, inspiration, and prayer. Listen to my show every Monday from 11 to 12 on KWWJ 1360 AM, KYOK 1140 AM, KCOH at 1230 KCOH.com, Sangeet Radio at 95.1 FM, 1460 AM, and Latino Sports, KEYH 850 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then. All right, Houston, this is Gilbert Garcia of A Tip from Me, A Tip from Gilbert, talk, inspiration, and prayer. As we are here, of course, as we all know, every Monday from 11 to 12. You heard the stations, you know the number, but I'm going to say the number again. You are welcome to call in any Monday from 11 to 12 on 832-570-8075. And you know what they say? If you call in enough time to the show, I'm going to put you on the radio. And so I have two great citizens. And I say citizens because it's all about citizen involvement, yes, meaning get involved. Yes. And I'm so grateful for everyone who went to the No Kings March, etc. But let's do this, Houston and Harris County. Let's not forget, that's just the beginning. Let's not make that another thing like I remember Rodney King and everyone said, that's going to be the beginning of the end of racism and everything. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Mr. Floyd's murder, and everybody said, that's going to be the beginning of the end. Yes. And here we are still talking about these things. Yes. I even asked my kids about Rodney King, and you know what? Not one of them knew. Probably didn't. They need to know because we got to know about things. And so remember, let's make all this turn into not just a beautiful day at the in the sun, walking in the park, but really action. Real change. And let's get out these elected officials that aren't doing what the people need and want. But I have two guests. Yes. Number one is Miss Linda Murray. And Miss Linda, thank you for being on the show. And you look so lovely today. And Miss Linda, of course, has been around since 1980, right? You came to Houston? 1980. Mm-hmm. And she's been around. She's been very active. And you heard her call in many times. It's my first time to meet her because she's always had something important to say. And then we have Mr. Morris Broussard. He was here the other day, but, you know, I felt like we didn't get to cover anything. No. We did. Right?
But you know how I like to start the show off, Gilbert.
Tell me.
Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, America. And the Gilbert Show.
Amen. 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 So we're going to have a lot today because we're going to talk a little bit about the march. I'm going to show a clip that's going to show, first of all, I just find it ironic. And I'm not throwing stones. I have many Republican friends. Everyone knows I'm a yellow dog Democrat, as they say. But at the end of the day, we're going to show the $50 million parade. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that $50 million you watch, it's going to be a lot more than that, the parade that we did. And for someone that's of my age, when I grew up in the days of, Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan, et cetera, we wouldn't even think about something like a military parade like this. You know, when you see Brezhnev and Russia with all the bombs coming through, I mean, that's just something that somehow we don't do unless we celebrate the end of a war or something of that nature. But at the end of the day, we're going to show the attendance because it looked pretty weak. Yeah. And then we're going to show this extraordinary No Kings marches all over America. Mm-hmm. And not just big cities, although I'm going to show pictures of big cities, but they were in small cities. They were everywhere. Yes. And I think that is extraordinary. And of course, for all of you who are fathers out there, Father's Day, happy Father's Day. There's a lot of fathers out there. Indeed. Yeah. And it takes a great mother and a great father to raise great kids because we need it. And sometimes you get, two fathers or two mothers or one and one. At the end of the day, it takes a village. The grandparents come involved. Yes. But at the end of the day, there's a role for really us as parents, no matter what type of parent, to really instill the values on kids. Because we can't rely on the schools to do that. We have to really put in the values that we want to see in our kids. We need to do that as parents. So, by the way, Morris, are you a father?
So
tell us.
Not biologically.
Bring your thing a little closer.
So not biologically. So
Okay.
what I did was that I had the opportunity to foster almost a child that was real close to my family. He's not a part of my family with no blood ties there, but I did have that ability. Mark Kendry is healed, by the way, since we're going to talk about him.
Okay.
And I love him. I love him like he is mine. I got a grandkid out of the deal too.
Oh, wow.
So I was with my grandbaby yesterday, and we were playing in the yard and swinging on the swing. So yeah, I mean, truly, I did. I got out. I mean, I don't have one, like I said, blood wise, but I love him like he's mine. So
well, you know what they say? Foster a child, you get a grandbaby. I mean, come on, right? I mean, that's an amazing thing.
Yes.
And Miss Linda, do you have children?
Yes, I do.
Tell us about your kids.
Well, I have a husband who's a father.
There you go.
And my daughter is still feeding him for Father's Day because it was crowded Saturday. But and it was packed Sunday, so he's going to the movies today. But I have 6 grandchildren.
Wow.
And I have many adopted grandchildren because I taught.
Yeah.
And I have 2 boys. I have sons, daughters, stepdaughters.
Now you taught for how many years?
I taught in Houston for almost 20 years.
See if you can pull your chair up just a little bit closer to the mic. So you taught almost 20 years in Houston?
Before that, I was born in New York City. I worked in the business of show business.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yes, in the business of show business when show business didn't pay.
Yeah.
And my sister still worked. My brother-in-law, my sister worked for when she come down with the P. Diddy shows and everything.
Wow.
Yes, you got to see the behind the scenes of show.
Well, I need to get close to you so I can be discovered by your family. I want to be on TV. I want to be I want to be discovered.
Doesn't it would be nice,
but
you're
already famous. Doesn't everybody want to be? Everybody wants to be discovered. But let's go back for something, if you don't mind, Ms. Linda. So you taught. What do you think is the biggest change in the public school system today from when you were there teaching all those 20 years?
The biggest change is which isn't a change at all, because when you read Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson, you find out even from the beginning with the monitor schools in New York City, they never meant to publicly educate the masses.
That's right. Wow.
They never did. It was never their intention. But what is the most horrible change is the way that they are, for the public school, the most horrible change is that the way that they're trying to take over once again your public schools.
That's right.
And not and then take the standardized test, which now Governor Abbott, they've taken, they're not going to have it.
Yes.
But they knew that 2 years ago when they took out the test, when they took over the schools, Houston Independent School.
Is not having the test, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Show me the organization, show me the place that you get into because you passed that test.
Right. The answer is none.
That's right.
You don't.
That's
But
right.
how do you measure? And again, I'm on the same side. We're talking, but let's take the other side for a second. How do you measure the success of a school system? In other words, let's say Mr. Miles, and I don't know him, and I've never met him, but everyone, of course, is unhappy with him, et cetera, et cetera. At least those affiliated with the public schools, and I understand why. But at the end of the day, if I were mayor, and everybody knows I ran for mayor,
Right.
I always said I'd want to meet with him right away to find out
You have to.
what are the metrics of success, because I want to know now, rather than it goes on another year, and we're just like still there. I mean, what is a metric of success so we can get there right away, and that way get back local control?
So first off, you have to determine what subjects are more important, right? So is it reading? Is it writing? Is it math? Is it statistics? Is it government? Maybe it's spreadsheets. Maybe it's mortgages. Because remember, if it doesn't impact your day-to-day life, what are we teaching it for, right? So what are we trying to give to the kids? What are we trying to teach them? Why don't we do bakery class anymore? Because we need to teach the kids how to cook, right? Who's teaching them? if it's balancing a checkbook, is that the most important subject that you have, right? Because you need to get back to balancing budgets. If we're not teaching the kids, if we're only teaching them, hey, 1, 2, 3, well, if they don't never use 1, 2, 3 in their day-to-day life, then what does it matter to them?
I think it'd be great. I hadn't thought about this, but it's coming to me since you said what you just said. There seems to be a need for a life skills class, meaning all of what you just described. Mechanic, plumbing, just taking care of a home, balancing the checkbook.
That's right.
How do markets work to make sure that you know what to do with your pension? I mean, some sort of life skills.
That's right.
That seems like a good class. What say you there, Miss Linda?
I see that we are growing in America because before we really didn't know what we wanted out of education. We just wanted the kids in school, and particularly in Texas. Texas has been at the bottom quarter. It has 75% of this nation has tested better than Texas.
Isn't that terrible? I mean,
75%.
What happened to Texas and we're grand and we want to discover the moon and what happened to that Texas spirit of being the best?
Well, you had what your president is taking out now. You had privilege, the privilege of education, and many people do not understand what education is going to do. You're a Yale graduate. My son's godmother's a Yale graduate. She graduated Stuyvesant High School, the top science high school in New York. And she gets to Yale and they tell her, and she's a National Merit Scholar. She's a National Merit Scholar in the 70s when people really were not paying much attention to the SAT. And they tell her, oh, isn't it wonderful? You make a great leader and a great writer and a great civil rights leader.
Yes.
And they tell her English. She's an English major, not how brilliant your brain is, not how great your science is. Wouldn't you don't we want to navigate you into the Yale Medical School? And I think that schools also don't navigate kids into.
They don't.
They don't. It's just you're here, and somehow, because I come from that tri-state area, you think that those things are just door openers. They are not. You have 15, well, when I was not a kid, but I was a young girl, you have 15,000 people per year out of each school coming out with those degrees. Not talking about the undergrad degrees, but coming out with your lawyers. Where are you going to, do you need 15,000 lawyers on Wall Street?
Right.
Every year? Every year, it doesn't happen. So what we have to understand is what can education do, public education, and what we want it to do. It does not necessarily. My kids passed AP, Advanced Placement Test.
Yes.
Do you know how many kids went to schools and they told them you didn't pass it high enough? You couldn't get that on the news. My son passed the THEA test. That was then your entrance into Texas higher education assessment. That was your entrance into whether you could take college credit courses in universities here. Well, do you know that they told him, though he passed the math test, you passed it, but you didn't pass it high enough. Go to remedial. Now,
come on.
Explain to me how many of the kids that I taught at Booker T, Eagles,
right down the street from me.
Eagles, the Rams, Cashmere, and Wheatley, and the Wildcats.
So I think
she's got it all covered.
I think Miss Linda has a great point, though.
Yeah, go.
So where is the end of the road? Where does it start? Where does it end? So if we don't have a track of where we're trying to go, where are we going to be at? So if it's, do we need more scientists? Well, that's probably true, right? Do we need more computer whizzes? We probably do. Do we need more doctors? Well, we already know we have a shortage. Do we need more nurses? Well, we already know we have a shortage of nursing. The problem is that we don't glorify these roles like we used to. So remember when we were growing up, you wanted to be a police officer. You wanted to be a doctor. We don't glorify them. Who do we glorify now? We glorify the rapper. We glorify the artist. We glorify this person we call Trump because he's supposed to be a multi-billionaire. don't know what his money really look like, right?
Yeah,
ain't nobody ever seen his tax returns yet.
Thank you.
But he's supposed to be something special. But we glorify him. That's why he's president today.
Well, one of the things that I want to come back to for a second, I'm going to take a slight pivot, which is, and by the way, I got my vaccination at Booker T. And guess what? When I was there getting my COVID vaccine, there was Sheila Jackson Lee making sure, running herd on, making sure everybody got their vaccination. I mean, boy, what a hell of a congressperson she was. Anyways, before I go to my pivot, because I want to go to how expensive college is now, there's Mr. Mark. Mr. Mark, are you there?
Yes, how y'all doing this morning? Y'all doing all right this morning?
Mark.
We're doing great, my friend. What do you got for us today? Either me, Gilbert Garcia, or Miss Linda, of course, or Mr. Broussard. What do you got for us?
Well, I got to let y'all know that we go back the way we used to do when I graduated from Booker T back in '89. So we on the right. We had wood shop.
Yes.
We had auto mechanics.
Yes.
Homemaking. We had everything for us prepared.
That's right.
I'm not just gonna say what's going on right now with Trump administration, because we know what they're doing. We see what Greg Avenue doing.
That's
this
right.
was long before they even got in there. They started taking all this stuff out, and you know what I'm saying, and just messing up a lot of stuff. So it looks like now what we see now, when is the end gonna come? When the Republicans, I don't know what they in. We don't know what they're doing. We just know they're just taking over.
Don't know what they're doing.
Nobody knows nothing. We talking about it, but at the end of the day, what is really happening? All we just see is that we didn't show up, or we didn't. Well, if somebody's gonna take something from you or steal something from you, are they gonna come and tell you they're gonna do it? No, they didn't do it. They ain't gonna tell us that. They just came and took the district from us and just made a whole lot of mess and made it look like that the parents wasn't worried about nothing and this and that. But we was out there arguing and trying to fight on the line and stop him from taking over. You know what I'm saying? So they stole it from us.
Well, hold that second, that thought there, Mr. Mark, but don't go, okay? Don't hang up, because you just brought up the thing I was going to talk about. So let me go to it right now, and then I'll ask my guest. You mentioned that back in the day, Booker T had auto mechanics and so forth, and these other, I'll just call it trade schools.
Yes.
My daughter, as we all know, I talk about Juju all the time, and she, of course, got into University of Chicago. If you look, and of course, everybody knows I went to Yale. Yale next year, do you know what's it's going to cost next year? $95,000 a year. A year. And think about that for a second. So someone that's going to go to Yale, I'm sure the next year will be more. So let's just round it. It's going to be $100,000.
That's right.
So you're talking about a $400,000 commitment versus, if someone wanted to be and by the way, it's not just Yale. I just use that as a barometer. UT, A&M, they're all very expensive. Versus you can go get trained, pay for your education, and become a certified plumber or elevator person, electrician, all these trade schools. And a lot of them, number one, they have fantastic benefits. Number two, they also have, a glide path to success. And then a lot of them are making six figures a year and with no debt. Because I've had the trade unions here on my show before. I really think we need to bring some of that back into the schools, because not everybody wants to go to college.
That's correct.
And not everybody can afford college today.
That's correct.
So what say you there, Mark? Am I crazy, or am I on the right track?
You're on the right track. You can lead a blind man. I can follow right behind you. I got to hold on to you, because you're on the right track. You just said it. That's what we said. That's what it was. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we listen to our grandfathers and grandparents as they grew up. They say get on a job and try to stay on there so you can get seniority. You get what I'm saying? No matter what it was, just get seniority. Right now, we don't have none of this yet like this no more. I don't know what to say, man. It's just whatever they're doing right now. It's just a hot mess right now. That's all I can say.
They truly pushed us into college and then didn't offer no job for what you got a degree in.
That's right.
So they put you in a failed situation and spending all this money, but then nobody put you on the path to know how to make the money, right?
Like, what are you going to do with it? Well, what's interesting about that.
When you get out of college, there ain't no job, ain't nothing available for
That's
you.
correct.
Nothing's there.
That's correct.
The only people that get the jobs is the people like the man that's sitting in the White House right now. He hired his brother-in-law, his sons, his daughters. They all sitting in these top executive businesses, but ain't got no degree. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
They just put them in no position. But when we go give us debt, we owe debt. All this here, the other president tried to help us with the debt. You know what I'm saying? So we got to cut some of this out. You know what I'm saying? They don't like it when it's just to the point that I just don't know what to say, man.
I love that, Mark, because you remember when he was telling us about concepts of a plan that he had, and we still don't know the concept of the plan. And then he talked about he say, oh well, I want to start working on merit-based jobs. Let's get merit-based jobs.
What's the concept of that plan, Miss Linda? What do you say?
I say that I agree with all of you. You all have my vote. Remember the college, Yale used to be a drinking school, so was Harvard, okay? Mm-hmm. And those people that sent their children there also owned their own companies.
Yes.
When Sheila went there, my cousin, my son's godmother, she knew Gillette. The Gillette family. Mm-hmm. She was friends with the Gillette family. Mm-hmm. But our kids don't understand what it takes for what they want as a future. If you want to go on the farm, do you want to know how to grow, the growing season, those are the things. You just really don't have a great calling for somebody that can teach Romeo and Juliet like I can, or at least Julius Caesar like I can. Right. There's just not that calling. And what we have to look at is seriously, remember, colleges, when I got here at Houston, you didn't need a college degree to take on several jobs.
Yes.
And even still now, judgeships, etc., you don't have to know. Look at the Congress. They don't know a thing about legislature.
No.
Look at the stuff that they're passing.
Well, let me hold on, Mr. Mark. Don't leave me though. I'm going to give you another airtime here, and I know we got 3 callers on hold here, but hold on, Mr. Mark. The thing that gets me is my daughter went through the process and she got into an awesome school. Mm-hmm. But what I notice about all these schools that she's applying, they're already making her decide, what do you want to be? And I'm like, what do you mean, what does she want to be? She's all of 18 years old and she hasn't really seen life. How does she know I want to be a this or a that? And they're already forcing these young people to go into these career tracks and these education tracks without any knowledge or experience or anything. And I just think that's unfair.
They're selling the dead courses. Remember, if you take a general degree, you spend way more than the $90,000. Another thing is that there are certain schools, your scholarship, it's like the fallacy of the football scholarship or the athletic scholarship. It is not a 4-year scholarship. Look at how many times they change the doggone players on the college team.
I'm glad you said that.
Do not. I went. Yes. I've got my daughter has a picture. Mr. Cashmere. I made him. Pulled him off of the football field and told him, you are going to apply for Linda Laurel scholarship. He kisses me to this day. And Miss Murray, you're the best, because I said, you're going to find yourself, great star that you are in high school. And we are not telling the children the truth. If they do for a general meeting, no. If they take the AP class, no. Black colleges aren't good enough. No. Well, we couldn't go to black colleges. We couldn't go to white colleges, so we built black colleges. Right. Yeshiva and Brandeis, I believe those are your 2 university colleges with Jewish people. They only have 2. Black people have 130 something. And they'll tell you that it makes a difference. And you'll find out that what we've been fed is a story. Yes, some of us will do better with training. Some of us will do better with a college degree. But basically, a scholar is somebody who's broke and loves books.
There you go. Mr. Martin, you got 30 seconds. What do you got?
I just want to say, look at this administration and look at all the people he's trying to put in top executive office that ain't got no degrees, don't know what's going on. And just look at it. But then if we did something like the Democrat did, it'd be a problem, wouldn't it?
Oh,
they just put people in positions they don't even know. 22-year-old person don't even know what he's doing, but he just want to just put him in there. It just doesn't make any sense. That's all I'm trying to say. So, hey, thank you, Gilbert.
Thank you for coming on. Call us again.
Yes, sir, I will.
We got a couple of other people online. Let me see what we got. We got Brother Chris. Brother Chris, I owe you an apology because I know you've called me a couple times. And Brother Chris, I want you on my show. But right now, I want you to go ahead and tell us what you got today. Oh, did I lose Brother Chris?
Hello. Good morning, Brother Gilbert.
I owe you an apology, and I'm saying it right now on the air because I know you called me. And I want you on my show, Brother Chris, because I know you got a lot to say. But meanwhile, will you be on my show, brother?
I think we can work that out.
All right, good. Meanwhile, what do you got for us today? I know you got a lot to say about this weekend.
Yeah, you know what? I won't be long, but I will be strong, and I definitely won't be wrong.
That's right.
You know, this is an interesting topic. I just read an article in today's USA Today newspaper about this very same topic you guys were talking about regarding the vacation kids going to school. Now, here's the trick, y'all. Mm-hmm. I think it's a game that was played. It's kind of like the Project 2025 thing. They didn't just plan this yesterday. They planned this ahead of time. So I know when I was in school, and I came out in 85, now our counselors, they always try to encourage us. They talk to us about college, but then they never talk to us about vacation trade and gave us the pros and cons. Because when you do come out of college, and you don't get the right job, now you're stuck with financial debt. You follow me? That's a problem with it. And then when you do come out of college, you don't get a job in that field that you're studying, because you had a lot of kids who just recently graduated. They're not getting the jobs in the field they studying, got their degrees in. Yeah, they lucky to get a job at McDonald's. You know? So with that being said, it was a game that was played on this coach. My thing is, how did you expect somebody to teach you right that won't treat you right?
Well,
Brother Chris, he's well. I mean, you know what? He's wise. That's what you call wisdom.
That's right.
Well, let me ask y'all this. And Brother Chris, stay on another minute or two, okay? I want to go to the No Kings March.
Yeah.
Did y'all see that on TV?
Yes.
I marched.
Did you? Tell us, what was it like marching?
What it was invigorating, because in the 60s, as I said, my parents moved from Alabama to New York City. In the 60s, you had people in the South and in the North. They had to bring on the students and the youngsters. I have pictures of the signs. I wish they were in my English class. I take credit for it. If you can if we can elect a criminal as a president, we can have an immigrant can get citizenship.
There you go. Okay.
Young people, suddenly we've got these young people and young voters encourage that dragon has awakened.
Love it.
Oh my goodness.
I so hope it has awakened, because we need it. And you know what? They need to wake up most of all, because this is going to be their future. This is their city. This is going to be their country, their world. You know, a lot of us are a little bit advanced in our wisdom, but they are like at the very front end.
This is a moment that, since I started my podcast this year, it has really been focused on a we, not me moment. This is the moment that we should be looking at as a collective on moving our country, our world forward. We have been too isolated at this point. You can see this now in our federal government. For the blacks. You can see this with the state that we're living in right now with Abbott, and we see that here in Houston with our mayor. Unfortunately, you could see the isolation that's coming out of that. What we need to be focused on is a collective on how do we move the world forward so we can leave it for our future fighters that we're starting to see right now. They are fighting harder than we are, and we've lived through most of the fights. I'm not that old yet, but we've seen it before, and now they've taken the reins. We should have taught them that.
Yes.
They should be teaching us how to fight in this moment. We should never let this happen. This was a ball drop on us, and we need to pick it back up, and we should lead that charge while we let our kids go back and we let them learn on the grand scale.
Damn, I'm ready to pick up that ball right now. I'm ready. Well, Brother Chris, what do you say to that? I mean, were you at the march?
No, I didn't get a chance to participate in that particular march because I was tired of other things. However, I was observed. But I want the people to understand one thing, though. You know, evil flourishes and grows, and good people stand by and do nothing.
Yes.
You follow me?
Yes.
And you got to understand, these people that you guys just talked about, Abbott and the other ones,
yes,
these people not playing chess with y'all, they're playing chess.
Yes.
And chess is a game outside the box and strategizing. You follow me? So, you know, you got to organize, mobilize, strategize before you finalize. Then you can't say too much because you never know who's listening. See, they planned way ahead of time in regarding to our kids. All we got to do is continue the old playbook we've been using.
Yes.
You know, I think the economic boycotts are extremely effective. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Reverend Al Sharp this past weekend, and they planning an economic, they planning a march on, not Washington this year, but on Wall Street. So they're going to commemorate the march on Washington, but this time they're going to march on Wall Street. Because, see, the powers that be, the millionaires, the billionaires, they got some say-so in this. If they tell Donald Trump, ain't no people that's doing wrong, the Republicans doing wrong, y'all ain't stop it. They would listen to them. So now we got to hit the economic boycott. See, and this is not about black and white. This is about Republican Democrat. This is about wrong and right.
That's correct.
Amen. Brother Chris, I'm going to call you later, but thank you for calling in, my friend.
Thank you for taking my call. Miss Linda, you guys, y'all keep up the good work. Y'all doing an excellent job.
We're trying. Miss Linda, I'm going to now show you something. Let's put on I think this was now from the Washington Post, which had pictures from the No King rallies across some of the big cities in America. Let's just take a look at some of these. Of course, I don't have any music to them, or maybe I do. Let's see. Oh, okay, I can't see there. Oh, can you take off my, can you go back, take off my, there we go. Go back to the very beginning if you can. So there's Philadelphia.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's looking. If you can't see it, it's unbelievable. There's L.A.
In the rain.
Yeah,
Philly.
that's right. And what's this? There's, go slower, Nashville.
Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Nashville. Downtown Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going. Wow, look at that. New York City. There must be like 100,000 people there.
In the rain.
In the rain?
In the rain.
There's L.A. Let's see what else we got there. I mean, these are major cities. What is that one? That's San Francisco? San Francisco. They got a way to write No King in their whole march.
People get creative.
Right? That is fantastic. Mm-hmm. What else do I got? That may be it. Is that it?
We have the video.
Oh, we have the video. Hold on. Go ahead. Let's do a little bit of it. I don't hear any sound.
Starting fires by sending ICE, the National Guard, and my brothers, the Marines. So we're here with the family today to basically stand.
Okay, we can hear it.
Trump starting fires by sending ICE, the National Guard, and my brothers, the Marines. So we're here with the family today to basically stand up for our rights, and there's a different way to do this, and this is not right.
We just want to support our community, we want to support family and friends, and we want to stand strong for Los Angeles and California, the United States.
Philadelphia.
I think everybody can see that there's some significant overreach from the executive branch, not complying with court orders, basically, deploying the National Guard and the Marines against citizens who are obviously, with minor exceptions, peacefully protesting, trying to manufacture, playing up to their base. It's just overreach, and we got to stand up to them now while there's still an opportunity to do so.
Washington, D.C.
I'm a veteran. I'm a federal employee. I'm a black woman. I'm in the LGBTQ. So he's directly impacting me and my family and my communities, plural. So I'm here to fight for those who are afraid to fight.
Good for her.
Yes.
Right, good for her. What do you say? So go back, Miss Linda. What are you going to tell your kids and grandkids about the march this, yesterday or this
Well,
weekend?
yesterday, Saturday, I didn't bring my grandchildren because they had something to do, and I was getting out and going there. I want to say this. When Malcolm X was assassinated in the Audubon Ballroom, I was my parents filled up the bathtub with water in case the white folks, they were serious about civil rights, in case white folks poisoned the water system from Alabama.
Wow.
When we got outside, and it was less than 5 minutes, and the police were everywhere. The news stations had come from Midtown Manhattan all the way up to Harlem, 140-something Street. They pulled a drunkard, the news stations, they are looking, remember what media is trying to do. And what happened Saturday, media could not do. And what we've got to continue is to continue to align ourselves with our several organizations. Nobody should run from a Black community and you are not a member of the NAACP. I don't care how pusillanimous you think they are. You wouldn't be on any ballot. And it's $25 a year. We should all be members of these nonprofit organizations. When you're talking about getting active, go to the meetings. Don't send me there with something that you think needs to be handled. Go yourself. You need to pay, and we need to have our organizations, LULAC, the rest of them. I'll fund 10 memberships to the NAACP. I buy all my grandchildren and children I know, children in the neighborhood, $10. It's for that membership. We need to continue. They are looking to make you look bad. That's why during the 60s and the 50s, you couldn't wear shorts. You couldn't wear. You don't need to wear tank tops because in this organization and that we're talking about, No Kings and the rest of them, it's millions of people that this man has damaged. Millions of things. It's not just one little thing. It's not just one little insult to the English, to our allies, to the things that he's claimed. Have you ever thought that a sitting president would talk about a judge in that manner and then move to have judges arrested? It is, and we cannot let him think we're going to get normal. We've got to continue to go back out Saturday after Saturday and protest until he is taken down, until we grow, or if it's just the two of us out there, three of us. Yeah, the three of us out there. We're not moving off of this thing. No, they want to make you look stupid. What I think about it, everybody they put the microphone to, intelligent, knew what they were talking about, weren't articulate and made and knew what was the premise of their protest. But this media wants us to look bad. I've even heard it. I've heard what media said. Well, he called the National Guard to get down to keep peace. What peace did he need to keep?
That's right. You don't bring in the military at any form or fashion if you're not doing one thing. We teach them one thing, right? This is all we teach them. We teach them to go out there and fight. Either hold the line for another country, or we tell them how to shoot. Yeah, right? That's right. So when you bring them to our land in America, anywhere in America, you're telling them to do one thing and one thing only. And what I liked about Brother Chris is Chris said we playing a game. My motto is that we're always playing a game. You just don't know what game you're playing. And I don't think it's chess and I don't think it's chuck. I think they get to choose whenever they want to play whatever game they want to play. You just need to be prepared to play the game with them. So my thing is, it's like I said, it goes back to we, not me. So we have to be focused on the collective. This is not humanity. This is not America. We stood on principles. The 50s, 60s, it doesn't matter if we was racist or not. We stood on principles. The principles was that we try to treat everyone as equal as possible. In this day and age, guess what we're doing? We're not willing to cater to anybody anymore. Mm-hmm. We're not willing to look out for anybody. We're not willing to do anything for anybody. We're looking out for America. And he said that, America first. You knew what you voted for. You knew what this was going to be about. This is not the humane way to get it done, though.
Well, you notice how quickly the president has now flip-flopped yet again. Because they were going to go and doing all these raids in California and other things and picking up
That's wrong.
Latinos and so. But That's now wrong. They said, well, oops. Someone must have called him and said, wait a minute, those are the workers I need in my restaurant, or those are the workers I need in my hotel.
He was wrong.
So now he's not going to go there.
He was wrong.
I mean, it's just amazing how unpredictable it's been. It's hard to even figure it out. Go ahead, Ms. Linda, what do you got?
Where are you going to live if you're a billionaire and you cut and there's no middle class?
That's right.
Where are you going to live?
Yep.
People are coming over the wall. You can't. James Brown used to own a house in Queens. His door never stayed closed. People knocked, they wanted to see him. Everyone's coming to free. Where are you going to live if you're the only rich person and there's no bread for anybody else?
That's right.
This is why, and it's not just a black issue or a brown issue or just a white issue. It's what are you going to do? And he takes out habeas corpus. They have Elon Musk. Forget about his cruddy cars. He has taken our data and they moved over that.
They gave it to him.
Yes, indeed.
They gave it to him.
So, and think about it. IRAs. Only thing you're a mathematician. Only thing Elon, Tesla makes what, 7,500 to 9,500. Well, if you have 9 million people or 2 million people in this country, and you take out their IRAs, the $1 million IRAs, you got money. A million people with 9,500 is you're not going to get you across the street.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen. Hold on, we got another caller.
Go for it.
Let's go to Mr. Jack. Mr. Jack, are you there?
Yeah.
We're in a row there, Jack. What do you got? What do you got about the schools, education? What do you got about No Kings? What do you got for us today here on a tip from Gilbert?
Yes, I think y'all were on the topic earlier. But I was wondering, what resources or programs does HISD offer to help students prepare for college or careers, after graduation?
Well, let's ask Miss Linda, because I think you're going to be disappointed, because I think it's not much. But what do you say?
Yes,
Ms.
they
Linda?
do. They have it's public education, and they have your counselors are there.
There you go.
They've also hired in college counselors. But you've got to remember that a college counselor is a college counselor. The college counselor guidance people. I went in there to support some woman with the union. They're not looking at the whole picture. They do have kids prepared, but going to college it's like getting married. You marry them, you got a honeymoon. When you get to college, it's a whole big different thing. And remember what I said at the beginning of the program. There were kids that had passed the AP exam, and they told them that they didn't pass them high enough. Mm-hmm. With a high enough grade, and they couldn't skip the course. College is not what it was. When I went to City College in New York City, it cost $35. It went up to $50, and we raised the roof.
Wow.
My books cost $20, and you got a sweatshirt. Okay? So
well, I graduated in 2013, UHD, and Proud Gator. Love it.
Yep.
Love it. It's so big now.
Several of my
so big
colleagues that work with me and one of my partners, all UHD.
So very affordable. I'll tell you this. I'll give everybody a life lesson. As if I would have did it differently, I would have went to community college first. Mm-hmm. Get that. Get those general studies out of the way. It's cheaper that way to do it like that. Mm-hmm. And then when you figure out what you're going to do, then go into your university. And the reason I say that is because of the money factor, right? Mm-hmm. We've already talked about, we've brought up the subject of free education. That's been a discussion that we've been having for almost 30 years at this point, free education. Guess what everybody says when it comes down to it? The elder people say, well, guess what? I don't care. I paid for it. So why don't the youngsters do it? Mm-hmm. Well, the problem is that when you did it, What do you say, Ms. Linda? It only cost you $50 to do it. Yeah. Well, it cost me $20,000 to do it. So we're not on the same page.
Imagine now how much it is. That was already a while back.
Yeah, that's almost a decade ago at this point. And so you're looking at it, the experiences are different. If I go through something, I wouldn't want my child to go through the heartache, the hassle that I had to go through. I want to make it easier. I don't want to make it harder. So when you have these elders tell you, you didn't walk a mile in my shoes, I'm telling you that I walked a mile and a half because it cost me more. And not to say that the experiences that we share are different, it's to say that the cost is different now. So I would rather take a cheaper way to do it than to take a cheaper outing to do it. You know, so we have to get back on the same page of what are we trying to get. Universal health care is a beautiful thing. Why not do it? I think anybody should want to spare a life, right? I want Gilbert to live as long as Gilbert wants to live. Maurice Broussard should live as long as he wants to live. He won't live to 100. Let's make that happen. It's no reason to be like, oh, well, we're going to work you all the way until you die. Then what joy in life is that? We only get one of these things, right?
That's right.
So, I mean, and then on top of that, we don't know what the afterlife looks like. We hope it's great. Right. We hope it's the best thing we've ever seen, but we don't know what it is. So why rush it? I want everyone to live long, healthy, extremely their best life. I want the best life of the best life. But we as a people have to get together to do that.
Well, you know what disappointed me, Miss Linda, when my daughter was applying for colleges, the counselors, and you know, God bless them, right? They work hard.
Yes.
But they wanted my daughter to shoot, you know, for just a little bit. And I'm like, no, Juju, my daughter's Juju. I said, apply the greatest schools in the world because, you know, you don't know if you're going to get in or not, but we're in a position to apply. Apply.
Right.
They wanted her to shoot kind of low. And look, she got in University of Chicago, one of the best schools in the world. You know, and so sometimes it's like, let's make sure you're making these kids dream big and shoot big, and why not? It's okay to give them the odds or what are the chances, but encourage them. I don't know. Do you think I'm off base there, Miss Linda? Because
I think it's wonderful that you have that sort of financial backing. I'm glad that you have that true grit.
Yes.
I have been my husband was a gas when my daughter went to the Worthing Scholarship. And I work with many of my kids got scholarships, but when got the Worthing Scholarship, and the mother was there and said, he's already got a baby. So you got to remember that what you have in Houston lives in the world of there's not a high disposable income. That's how come you can take over a school district when 88% of your schools are doing well. But who can take off work to come down and say something to you? Okay? Who has that? The teachers go down and complain. Well, you fire them. Then you have teachers in that are not certified, and all the kids are getting C's and D's. The only thing you're doing is teaching the test and showing them your NES program, even at the magnet schools.
Yes.
And now you're telling me you want to make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. It's not going to happen. And I'm not saying that sow's ear, but just look at what they're doing. There's no navigating. How am I navigating? You're also not showing the kids. I used to make the few times I had senior class. I don't like teaching seniors because they're ready to go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember.
They're ready
to go. Yeah.
They don't even like my jokes. Okay. So.
They got
to go. But
we're going to bring Miss McKenzie to a second. Before we bring Miss McKenzie, I want to go to let's show a clip. We have the march of the military parade, and of course we all support our military, and of course those of us in the Latino community, in many ways, the military was our way out of poverty.
Yes.
That's what it was for my grandfather and my father. That was our way. And so it's not about the military, but I think this was sort of really Trump's quinceañera. You know, it was his thing. And you had millions and millions all over America on the No Kings. And let's just put this clip here for a moment of the
millions of Americans
thing. Here we go.
Protest against the prospect of an American king. This is what Trump's big military birthday parade ended up looking like. And brace yourself, because it's not exactly what we were promised.
That doesn't look like a lot of millions of people to me, right? I mean, that's on the is that the South Lawn there in DC?
Yes.
Let's see. Let's keep looking. They're panning to show you it's empty.
How could he have gotten 70% of the vote?
Yeah, right.
If he had 70% of the vote and they didn't show up for his parade, Elon must be something.
There's something
with your AI and with your,
let's keep watching a little bit more of
There's
this.
got to be tens of people out there. This is for a president who decided to spend a staggering $45 million on a vanity parade for himself so that he can feel big and important. But if the goal was to have throngs of adoring fans filling the bleachers in slavish devotion to the God King, then I think it's safe to say that today was an ultimate fail. I mean, I'm sorry, but at some point, this is just embarrassing.
Yeah, those bleachers don't look very packed there to me.
But do you hear the wheels
turning on the
parade is supposed to be like
that. You could literally hear the creaking of the tank tires. If Donald Trump's birthday parade was a person, we would have to check him for a pulse. And all of that is so that Donald Trump could have this moment.
Ready to serve, it remains an enduring symbol of the 1st Cavalry Division's legacy and commitment to duty. The band performs Hit the Leather and Ride, a march composed by Captain Robert Meredith Wilson.
Watching the troops salute him as they march by so that this small, petty man can feel big and powerful. And yet, if that all looks familiar, well, that's because you've probably seen it before here.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the comparison.
I mean, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
compared to here.
Yeah.
Well, they're made to. That's mandatory.
Yeah.
At least Kim Jong-un is smart enough to recognize that if you're going to do the whole dictator parade, you should at least mandate people also show up in
That's right.
But here's what makes this even more embarrassing for Trump, other than photos like this one populating the entire internet. It's that while Donald Trump felt the need to fillet himself with a parade for him, the rest of the country understood the assignment, and millions upon millions of Americans took to the streets in 2,000 cities across the country. This right here is the parade in Idaho. Idaho has more people coming out against Trump than Trump has at his own $45 million parade in Washington, D.C. And none of those people, by the way, had to be ordered there. None of them had to be paid to be there. They showed up because they care, whereas Trump's parade's participants quite literally had no choice. And I'll tell you what, it shows. In fact, I was at the protest in Los Angeles today, downtown, where tens of thousands of Angelenos showed up. Again, not because they were ordered to be there, but because they wanted to voice their opposition to this president. And I want you to compare Trump's parade, both in size and the ambiance, to what I saw in Los Angeles.
Let's see. Wow, look at that.
In fact, I took to the stage to offer a few words about why what I saw today in LA actually gave me some hope.
It would be easy to give up. With the cards stacked against us, it would be simple. They want us to feel powerless and small and weak. And yet, despite all of that, you all showed up here today. And unlike those 6,600 troops in Washington, D.C., no one was ordered to be here. No one was paid to be here. We are here because we want to be here. We are here because we are sending a message that Donald Trump and the GOP may run the House, they may run the Senate, they may run the White House, they may think they have power,
But you know what power looks like? It is this. This is power. It is hundreds of thousands of Angelinos. It is our brothers and sisters in New York and Chicago and Philadelphia.
We're almost out of time, I'm told. Where does that happen? Let's go to Mackenzie. And I'm going to give you all the last close. Mackenzie. Are you there, Mackenzie? Holy cow, that was good. Mackenzie, you with me?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, good morning.
What do you got for me? A tip from Gilbert for my guest, Miss Linda or Mr. Broussard. What do you got for us?
So I have a general question. You guys may have already touched on this a little bit, but I was wondering, like, what specific changes would be needed to happen to HISD in order for students to be more ready, college ready? Like, do they have to partner with outside programs with, like, Breakthrough and Emerge? Or maybe, like, informing students more about different career paths, like trade school, the military, community college, etc.
What say you there, Miss Linda? What do we need to do there in HISD?
Well, frankly, you don't have people that are attending classes because for the years I taught, there was nothing that you couldn't find, that there were counselors there. When I had seniors, I made them all fill out the online, it was online then, the community college application, fill out the city college to work at city of Houston application, community college application, and then it was your universities were you filled out one for 4 universities. That was a requirement. You got a grade on it. Now, as I said before, what is going to happen when you have them just concentrating on tests? They're not ready for college. College is a discussion. College is a seminar.
Yes.
You are not ready. You can the testing on career tests like the technology, etc. But you're not ready for college. And Houston, if you'd say, well, if we put in more counselors for them to go to college, what good is that going to do? They have to be able to know whether they want to be financed and whether they're going to make the sacrifice. Are you going to show up? 3 absences on the nursing program and you get shown the door and you get the opportunity to pay. Your student loan money doesn't return to you. None of that does. 3 absences. There are things in college that they're going to have to understand that are going to go down. That's good, but that's the college's job once they get there. To be admitted, they can just fill out the application. What we have to look at is where it is they're going to navigate to.
Okay, Ms. Deborah Ford said, clarify Washington Parade. The Washington Parade, that's the one, of course, that is the one that Donald Trump has. So hopefully I clarified for you, Ms. Ford. Let's go. And Ms. McKenzie, I think we're out of time, but thank you for calling in. Guys, I feel like we didn't get to cover the budget. That was one of the big things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about Houston. I'm going to have y'all back, both of y'all, because we didn't get to cover my whole thing I wanted to cover. So what I'm going to do now is we have about 3 minutes. Is that right, producer? About 3 minutes, and then, of course, if we have to forget the ad, we will. So, Mr. Broussard, I'm going to give it to you. That's your camera right there. Yes. Tell Houston what you want to tell, and then I'm going to come to you, Miss Linda.
What I always tell Houston, I thank you. I thank you all the time. I thank you for showing up and showing out this weekend. I thank you for I've seen more people at City Council than I've ever seen before. I thank Gilbert Garcia for bringing attention to the budget, because that's why I feel like that's why our main focus should be right now. Especially in Houston, our budget is so out of whack, and he's going to put this on the citizens of Houston. He's going to do that. Yep. That's not a knock on your mayor. That's not a knock on the person that I didn't want to vote for. That's a person that is going to put that on the citizens' back. He's already shaped it up with fire. He's already shaped it up with police. He's already shaped it up with the municipal employees. But what he's going to do is he's going to do it on the back of the municipal employees, and we're already seeing that when it comes to our services. So I appreciate you, Houston. I appreciate you for listening, and I'll be back on Gilbert again. Woo!
Miss Linda, it's all you right there. Talk to Houston.
Okay, thank you so much, Houston. And do know that you can't do it all. So you have choices now. What are you going to work on? Houston Independent School District? Fine, because you have somebody that took out a school district, and for the very same mistakes they claim they took him out for, he's stolen $97 million. Oh, it was okay. $27.5 million. Oh, it's okay. The teachers are not there. Oh, it's okay. The students aren't even prepared. How are they going to get prepared for college? They're not prepared for high school. They're just prepared for taking tests. So you have a whole lot. You have the city of Houston. You have your federal, what's happening with your president. You have what's happening with your locally elected officials that go federal.
Yes.
We got plenty to do. My goodness. And we've got to keep our foot on the gas. Thank you.
And we're going to keep you informed here on Tip from Gilbert, Talk to Inspiration and Prayer. Cue up the ad. We'll be here next week. Of course, I know we're going to talk about the CEO of the Montrose Center. We've got the CEO of Kids Wheels. I apologize. I can't read from over there. We got, of course, Lisa Helpman, who's the Public Affairs Director from HEB. We got it all. We're going to see you next time. This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia with Tip from Gilbert, Talk, Inspiration, and Prayer. Listen to my show every Monday from 11 to 12 on KWWJ 1360 AM, KYOK 1140 AM, KCOH at 1230 KCOH.com, Sangeet Radio at 95.1 FM, 1460 AM, and Latino Sports, KEYH 850 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then.